Hi, Marsha the Great here. Listen, it is a time for celebration because I finally got my Section 21. Let's go. Okay. After over 3.5 years of bullshit, like more than 3.5 years of bullshit, on the fourth anniversary, like pretty much on the fourth anniversary of those cunts like moving in here, hopefully I will be out of this property and I will be at least in a temporary accommodation. But this is the thing about Section 21s, right? They give you 2 months to leave. If you do not leave, they have to get a court order to remove you. And court orders can take months. So technically I have 2 months to leave, but I have a longer duration than that to leave, basically, because of like how long the courts take. But yeah, I'm leaving, baby. I'm leaving, baby. Like on the anniversary that those cunts moved in, I'm out, baby. I'm so happy about this. Look, I've been begging for a Section 21, begging ever since the council said that I had to have one. And now that I have one, the only thing that's kind of bugging me about this is that I don't have like a hard copy of papers for me to sign. I don't know whether that's necessary because I've already signed the online copy. But my thing is this, because these people like to play mind games for my own peace of mind, I need a hard copy to sign. I always need a hard copy to sign, like for my own peace of mind. But then I do have screenshots of me having signed the Section 21 online. So at least there's that, right? That's the only problem that I'm having with this. That's the only thing that might make me think, okay, this sounds like a little bit of a mind game here. Because if you can send me the Section 21 with papers to sign online, then why would you not send me Section 21 with papers to sign in real life? That just seems shifty. So hopefully they're not just doing this to play games. Hopefully this is not an intimidation tactic, because if it fucking is an intimidation tactic, I'ma really raise hell with these people. Okay? I'ma really raise hell. And they know I don't bluff. So let's do it. So, a little bit of background. Okay? So there's a family called the Logans, and Emma Logan is a matriarch. There are 3 other children. I believe one of whom was the one that was harassing me online. It wasn't actually Emma, like that person said. It was one of the children, and I think it was like the oldest child. I think it was the teenager that was coming online talking shit. So this family had been harassing me for about 3.5 years. Yeah, like it's just nonstop. Noise pollution, racial slurs, ableist slurs, like playing loud music, tried to get a rise out of me, trying to imitate me singing, because sometimes I sing a lot because like ADHD, like I stim a lot, right? So all of that shit, like I've had to be dealing with for about 3 years. And I've wanted to challenge these people to, like, not the children, obviously, but I've wanted to challenge the adults to a fight on like 3 separate occasions. So I think what they were hoping for was because their shit scared of me, right? What they were hoping for was to get some fear out of me. So no, actually, no, it's not even a thought. I know that for sure because I fucking heard it, right? So for 3.5 years, these people have been harassing me with diminishing returns, okay? Every time they continue to harass me, police are more reluctant to help them. Mental health are more reluctant to get involved. All that type of stuff, right? Because they know me and they know how I get down. Now, right? Now that they were running out of options, now that the Logan family were running out of options, what they decided to do was one of the children upstairs, and I think it's the oldest child, she said to somebody over the phone, we need her scared in a way she can't control. So that's what led to last Friday's incident when somebody tried to break in while I was in here. I was a little bit rattled, but I wasn't too scared because I know somebody bust through the door. These tiny hands of mine got reach. So I'm not afraid of that. These hands have got reach. So I'm fine with that. But yeah, I knew that they would try to intimidate me in some way. I didn't know they would try to repeat stuff that I'd done, right? Because on it was November the 30th last year, I was beating down a door and challenging like the adults in the family to a fight. It was Emma Logan. It was her dad, Steve Logan. There was some other vole-looking cunt upstairs, and it was another young lady that I didn't realize was a teenager at the time. So I was challenging all of them to a fight. So I think because of that, I think, you know, I'm not going to say understandably, but you've got to understand if you've been harassing somebody for 3 years and they beat down your door, literally try to break in looking for the fucking smoke, even with other adults around you, right? You're going to be scared, right? You're going to be fucking terrified. So like, especially if you're the type of person who, when you're scared, you don't shut the fuck up, you're going to be really scared. So knowing that you're hired to be a gang stalker, knowing that you've already said racist shit, knowing that you know this person will fuck you up if they get the opportunity, knowing that this person is so strong, they literally broke your lock. Like, if you were in that position, if you were in Emma Logan's position or the Logan family's position, you'd be scared too. You got to think about it from their side. You'd be fucking scared too if you were them, right? So in their minds, because they don't like to be scared, because they think like the worst possible thing that could ever happen to them is them being scared, right? So because they don't like being scared, they wanted me scared. And that's what led to last Friday's incident when somebody tried to break in. But again, I'm not like the family. I got fucking hands. And I'm not afraid to use them. And again, these tiny little rocks on my fucking wrists, they got reach. So I was not scared. I was rattled, but not like, not like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was last Friday's incident. I called the police and I told them what was going on, and it took them like 3 days to get back to me. And I roasted the police about that. I said, look, you know, you can talk all you want about me calling 999, but let's just say this person were to break in and, you know, I wasn't scared enough for their liking, or I was ready to throw hands and they decide to escalate it from there, maybe even kill me. The fuck you gonna do? You're gonna arrive 3 days later and perform necromancy? What the fuck are you about to do? So I told them that, and I also told them if anybody comes to me with the bullshit, it's up. I let the police know that. And not only did I let the police know that, I had them sit outside my flat where other businesses could hear me, where other neighbors could hear me, white, black, and brown. I had everybody hear all the hate crimes that go on in Woodingdean. I had everybody hear the racial slurs that were used against me. I had the police outside where everybody could hear. And I stood on business, right? And, you know, it was 2 police officers, and one of them said, look, if you want, we can talk to Emma for you. I said, look, I'm not against that. That's fine. At that point, it didn't matter to me either way. So it was like, okay, you can talk to her. So one of the constables, Alan, calls me back and he says, this is where we get into the section 21 now. Alan calls me back, like sometime after he's visited. And he says to me, just calling to check, you know, everything's okay. We've spoken to Emma and Emma said she's moving out on Wednesday, Cap. Cap. Immediate cap. Ain't no fucking way. It took the landlord's fucking, what? Like 3.5 years, more than 3.5 years to get a section 21. It's coming up to 4 years now. They couldn't even get a section 21 after I've been badgering these people for almost 4 years. But Emma, with all the fucking decorations and all the fucking like bedding and shit that they've got upstairs, ask me how I know that. With everything they got going on upstairs, you mean to tell me with all the fucking electronic shit that they got upstairs, that they're noise polluting me with, that they're going to move all of that out in a few days? Fuck off. Immediate cap. I don't know why these people think I'm that stupid to believe that. So I was like, no, it's not even worth mentioning online. And the thing is, they were waiting for me to mention it online. Why? So Logan and her family were waiting for me to mention it online. And they kept freaking out that I wasn't mentioning it online. I'm thinking, okay, so something's going on here. So like, I just took some time away from it. I just started focusing on my astrology and my tarot like I usually do. And, watched a couple of movies. And then it occurred to me, why don't I just ask the landlords if Emma's moving out? Why don't I just ask the landlords if Emma's moving out? I sent one email to Jan and another email to Aisha Bimji of First Charter House Investments. I said, look, the police relayed a message to me. Bitch, the police relayed a message to me that Emma was moving out on Wednesday. Okay. Is this actually true? And to be fair to them, even though they don't deserve fairness, I did tell both Jan and Aisha, Jan's on break. I did tell both Jan and Aisha, right? Look, you don't have to tell me anything because at the end of the day, if it's confidential, whether or not Emma is moving out, then you do not have to tell me. I did give them that out. And because I gave them that out, they responded, hi, we have the Section 21 you're looking for. So they didn't answer the question as to whether Emma was leaving or not. She wasn't leaving. And then on top of that, they gave me a Section 21 like I asked for. That's why they gave me the Section 21. Because something was supposed to happen if I assumed that, Emma Logan had moved out. Something was supposed to happen if I went online and assumed that they moved out, like the police officer said. If I'd have believed another one of her lies, I think another plan was supposed to formulate, but it didn't work out like that because I didn't fall for it. I didn't go online and start bragging, I didn't go online and start bragging off the back of the Logan's fucking lies. I waited on it. I asked questions. And I feel like that's why the Section 21 came around. I was asking too many questions. I was asking way too many questions. So that's what they did. They deflected, got me my Section 21. Okay. But again, the fact that I don't have a hard copy to sign makes me a little bit suspicious, but I've already signed the online copy, sent it off to both First Charter House Investments and the council, sent them both off. So that's that, and no harm done. Okay. When I first got the email about the Section 21, I went through a mixture of emotions. Like I had to really sit with it to find out how I was feeling about it. And I realized I was so excited to leave. I was so excited to leave. And then the upstairs neighbors, because I knew they were up there, I just didn't give a shit. The upstairs neighbors started talking, started saying, we will not you. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to have to hear that in a couple of months. In a couple of months, I'm not going to have to hear these lying cunts anymore. It's done. In a couple of months, Marsha the Great, gone into a new property. And if I don't get a new property in time, I have camping equipment. I just want to put it out there. I have camping equipment in case I don't get somewhere to live in time. You know what I mean? And when I say that, what I mean by that is they're not like that, like the way that gang stalkers have done one TI, they're not about to do me like that. That's what the fuck that means. So I'm already prepared. I'm already prepared to move out. The only like Achilles heel that I really have is like, where am I going to put all my stuff? Like I'm not the best at cleaning. I know I come online and I seem like fairly put together. I'm put together. My life isn't. I've always struggled with cleaning, with tidying, with decluttering. I've struggled with that for as long as I can remember. I'm just not good at cleaning. I want to be good at cleaning, but I'm just not. So that's the only Achilles heel that I have. Also, I've already got some other stuff in storage back in London. So it's just a matter of like, where am I going to store all of this? Because this is Brighton and the other stuff is stored in London. So it's just a matter of like where to store my stuff now and how much it's going to cost me, because it's going to cost me a lot to store all this crap. You know, it's going to cost me a lot to store all these things that I have. Because I've accumulated quite a bit over the years, you know. Yeah. I've accumulated quite a bit over the years. So that's the only like downside to this, is that I have to figure out where I'm going to move everything. And I've just got this new washing machine here. So that's another issue, you know. What kind of place are they going to put me in? Is it going to be another flat? Most likely not. So that washing machine is either going to have to go in storage, or I'm going to have to sell it, or I'm going to have to take off the insurance. So it's like lots of little details that I have to take care of as I'm moving out of this flat. Like it's a lot of like little details that I have to like really take care of. And that's the only Achilles heel that I actually have. Other than that, I'm fucking ready. I've been ready for years. Physically, I'm not ready. Emotionally, I have been ready. I've been ready since 2000. When was it? 2002? 2002. Since 2002, I've been ready. I've been fucking ready. No, it's 2001. November 2001. Since November 2001, I've been ready to get the fuck up out of here. Because living next to that, and I know they ain't been punched in the mouth before. They can't have been. I know they ain't been punched. I know Emma Logan ain't had a good punch in the mouth. There's no way she ain't. There's no way she. There's no way. There's no way. Carrying on like that. There's no fucking way. Imagine having to live next to fucking that for nah. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I'm glad to leave. For those of you targeted individuals who are about to say, you know, this is not going to be the end of it, they're going to find new people. They always do. They always do. You can look through my social media. You know, there's always like a week or two where you have some respite from gang stalking bullshit. And the reason why there's some respite is because it takes quite a bit of time to get new recruits, to fill them in on what's going on, to get new files so they can give them to the recruits, to get new people positioned for like the more stationary, long-term remote torture, you know, figuring out like which drivers are nearby so they can, like, all of that is paperwork. All of that is paperwork and details and communication. And that takes more time than you might think. So every time I move, there's new respite. There's new relaxation for me for at least like 2 weeks. There's a new ability for me to relax, and there's a new ability for me to recalibrate. I get something of a break because the gang stalkers have to arrange everything. Only this time, the gang stalkers are operating with less money than they've done in the past. Every single time I move, every single time, it's like it gets harder. Money, 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 money. And then on top of that, with Brexit and COVID, financial stretch. Financial stretch. I don't believe for 1 second that gang stalking has an infinite amount of money for this shit anymore. Maybe once they did. Maybe once they did. They don't have an infinite amount of money for this shit. Moving place to place, place to place, place to place. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, keeping TIs displaced costs money. Torturing TIs costs money. Think of the amount of millions of pounds of development it takes for one fucking EMF weapon, or one fucking DEW, or one fucking frequency weapon. Think of the millions of pounds of development just one of those things takes. Think about it. Really think about it. I want you to think how much money that is. And then on top of that, think about how much money it takes to recruit new gang stalkers each time you move somewhere. Each time you enter a new situation, there's new paperwork to be filled out. There's new paperwork to give people. That's not easy and that's not cheap. Why do you think the quality of the perps have been downgrading, especially in my life? My perps used to be at least professional. My perps used to be at least smart. No, they're downgrading the perps because they have to. There's just not enough money right now. There's just not enough money, especially not with the government. And as for sectioning, there's a reason why they're trying to keep people out of fucking sectioning. They don't have enough beds. They don't have enough beds for the amount of gang stalking victims that they actually have. There's nowhere near enough beds. Even the prisons, even the prisons are overfilled. Even the prisons are overflowing, especially the men's prisons. Know what I mean? Like nothing is infinite. Everything is finite, even a gang stalking budget. So when I move out of here, it's going to take at least a couple of weeks for everybody to be settled and for everybody to know their position. At least a couple of weeks. And that gives me a brief respite in a way that like just traveling somewhere doesn't. Because if you have a stable home, there's no respite. If you travel, there's no respite. You visit somebody that is familiar to you, there's no respite. But when you move, there's respite for at least a couple of weeks. Because it takes time for everybody to be set up. It takes time for everybody to be like arranged in a way that makes it more effective. It takes time. So yeah, more than excited. And yeah, like just those couple of weeks, more than enough for me. Like all I need is a short break. And then we can get back to our regular scheduled program of getting perps in here and me embarrassing the fuck out of them. We can get back to that. I don't mind. Okay. So, yeah. Oh yeah. There's been cyberbullying on my last video. I don't even care. I'm sorry. I'm already responding to him. I'm already responding to him. I don't even care. I'm sorry, but like, it's just the same old shit. Just like the Logan family, just same old shit. No imagination, thick as bricks. Nothing to talk about. But yes, Empress Justice Tarot, I did say that there was going to be a new beginning in October, November time. I did say that, right? I did say that. I just didn't know how it was going to develop. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are a go. We are a go. Let's see what happens with the council. Let's see what happens with the council. I'm literally glowing right now. Can you see this shit? Literally glowing. Anyway, peace and blessings to you. Every single time I hear those people today, I'm going to be reminded that at some point I'm not going to have to hear them anymore. Oh, bliss. Okay. Yeah. The Logans have been beside themselves because I'm supposed to be miserable that I'm leaving. I legitimately don't understand how their minds work. How the fuck are you going to harass somebody for 4 years and then that person is going to be miserable when they're no longer living next to you? Anyway, we're gone. Marsha the Great out. I love you guys so much. Peace and blessings. Bye bye, my darlings.